Hello everyone, it's Jamie and welcome back to my channel. I am here today on December, I think 12th, which is the second day that there has been snow on the ground at Animal Crossing. So if you haven't made your snowman today, you better go make it. I'm really terrible at making them, but whatever, it's fine. Anyways, so on to cross stitch. I have had 2 new starts since my last video, and I have worked on like 4 or 5 other things, so there is quite a bit to show, so we're just gonna get right into it. So the first thing that I will show is Templar Prophecy from Long Dog Sampler, and here's where I was the last time that you saw it, and here it is now. I decided I wanted to work across the border, and so page 2 ends like right here, and this is going on to page 3. Right here is the middle of the top row, and then my plan is to keep stitching the border going all the way across the row because I want to get the border done, because border stitching to me is just the least exciting part of the project and I just want to get it out of the way. So I am stitching this on 22 count fabric that I dyed myself using Rit dye in the color black, and I am stitching it with DMC 666 1/1 full cross. So there is little Templar Prophecy. The next thing that I have to show is a Kingdom Hearts chart that I had found on Etsy from the shop Cross Stitch Salon. Her Etsy shop is actually down now and she is in the process of making a new shop, but if you message her on Instagram you can still buy charts from her and she'll just send you PayPal, pay her that way. And I can't remember what her Instagram is though. I think it's like Nerdy Cross Stitch Art or something, but I will have it down in the description, so if you want to find her Instagram you can. And yeah, so here's where I was the last time that you saw Kingdom Hearts. And here it is now. I decided I wanted to work across to the top right corner and work on filling in all of this blue. There are like, I think 4,000 more stitches of this blue color in the chart, and so I really just want to get this blue color done. It is DMC 995, and it's kind of nice though because basically this whole thing here is going to be filled in with the blue, so I can basically just stitch it without looking at the chart and just kind of load a bunch of needles up with the color and then just stitch forever without having to look at a chart. So this is being stitched on an 18 count 2/1 full cross. So the next chart that I worked on is also a chart that I had found on Etsy, and it is Keita, and she is from the Disney movie Atlantis, and she is from the shop, what is it called? Pinky the Pink, and I think she also has a different website now called makeitpink.net. I'll have it linked down below if you want to find any of her charts. And here's where I was the last time you saw it. And here she is now. I love her so much. I decided I wanted to start working on this side of her, and I also started moving like up her shoulder over to her neck because I want to get her neck stitched so that I can move up to her face and get her face done. And then I also stitched all of the DMC gold metallic in her dress, which I hate DMC gold, or I just hate DMC metallics a lot. They are not fun to work with, and there's like a lot of partial stitches in here because there's going to be beads everywhere, and so it also made it even harder because you were basically doing just like a whole bunch of like quarter stitches throughout the entire thing, and it was just like, oh my god. And this is a 28 count fabric that I dyed myself using Rit dye. So there's that. And then I also worked on Autumn Harmony, which I had shown you in my last video, and that was a new start in my last video. And she is from Maxine Gad, and you can find her charts on Imaginarium Cross Stitch. And when you order charts from Imaginarium Cross Stitch, you get to pick what size you want your chart to be, and you also get to pick the amount of colors. So I picked the 100 color version, and I picked the version that was the 18 count, the medium size, which ends up being, I think it's like 355 stitches by like 495 or somewhere around there. I can't remember exactly what it was. And here's where she was last time. And here she is now. I am stitching this on 18 count, 2/1 full cross, and I worked more on her eye and into her cheek, and then I got kind of tired of stitching with light colors because there are just a ton of light colors in her face, and so I ended up putting it away. But I love it, and this is a chart that my sister is also stitching, and she is stitching the version from Haid, and so it's fun to see how the different versions stitch up because they're charted really different. Like the Haid version has Krynic all throughout the cheek, like the entire cheek area, and I think the chin is all Krynic, so it's like super sparkly and pretty, but it's fun to see what the differences are going to be because they're pretty similar charts. They have almost the same stitch count, like the finish size will be almost the same, and then the Haid version I think probably uses, what is it, like 89 colors, because that's like what Haids usually use, so it's probably somewhere in there. And then this one uses 100, so like they're pretty similar. So it'll be interesting to see how different the charting software is. And so there was that. And then we will show this one. So I had also talked before about how I was using a bunch of charts that I had found on Sprite Stitch to just put them all together and make like a huge almost sampler of like my favorite like things from anime or video games and just put them all into one huge thing. And so I kind of was working a little bit on that like the last couple days, and I was trying to figure out what I wanted to have on it and also where I wanted things to go. So I was kind of like drawing some of that out a little bit, and so here is where I am on this. So in this top corner here are some characters from Bleach. Over here was Rukia, there's going to be Orihime, and then there's going to be Ichigo here. And then I think that might be all I do for Bleach in this area, because then I decided I found a chart for Sailor Venus, and I want this Sailor Venus chart to be here. And I will have the chart back here real quick, just quick. So this is what the chart will look like, Sailor Venus. And so she'll be next to Ichigo with her arm up, and he'll be kind of like right next to it. And I'll have all the places where I found these charts linked down below. Most of them I found on Sprite Stitch or through Sprite Stitch somehow, because a lot of people on Sprite Stitch will also have like a link to where they put their charts on like a website that you can find them. So Sailor Venus is really big. So where is she? Okay, like I said, these are free charts, number one, and number two, you're not going to be able to tell very much from me holding it way far back, but you can see from behind, or from back here, she's really big, and my plan is to have her going down like the middle. I found a chart of Joker from Persona 5 that I want to have somewhere on one side of her, so hold this way back. Joker, Persona 5, he's going to be on there. And I also found a chocobo that I would like to be on there next to her legs somehow. So this will be somewhere on there too. So I need to figure out, like I said, the placement for all this stuff. And so I have been kind of trying to just do outlines of things, and then I've been using like a blue gridding pen to kind of draw whereabouts things will go. And so yeah, I don't know. It's been taking time trying to figure all that out, and hopefully it doesn't turn out terrible. I am stitching it on 18 count fabric, 2/1 full cross. So that takes me to charts that you already knew about, and now it is new start time. Yay! So the first new start is one where at the beginning of the year I was super excited about this chart, like so excited. And so I ordered all of the floss I would need for it from CXC on AliExpress, and that obviously takes a while to get here. So I ordered it in like April, May. It didn't get here until July. I had the fabric ready, I had the chart, and then the whole Haid 0809 thing happened, and I was just like, oh my god, what do I do with this chart? So the chart is Santa's Workshop Color Expansion by Thomas Kincaid, which I love the artwork. I love it so much. It used a ton of 08 and 09 though, so it was like heavily affected, and the changes that were made to the chart from Michelle, she replaced 08 with 779 I think, and then she replaced 09 with 310, and it made the chart really, really dark in a lot of places by just replacing it with 310. So I wasn't super happy with the replacement chart. So my sister was also going to stitch the chart, and we spent probably months going back and forth on what to do, and we actually were looking for different charts to stitch because we really wanted a chart with Santa, with like that whole thing of just like so much stuff around it. There's so many like toys and elves and the tree, and we couldn't find anything that was really comparable. So we decided we would start the chart, and at least for me, I am not going to be using any of the new colors. And I also decided I would be replacing 09 with 3371, and I would be replacing 08 with 779 in some areas and using 838 in some of the other areas, because based on the mock-up, 838 looked a little bit better than 779. And so yeah, it's gonna be kind of a lot of just trying to figure out what colors work best based off of what's already in the area. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But we had this and we started it on Thanksgiving for a Thanksgiving new start. Thankful for new starts. So here is where I got to. I am stitching this on 28 count, easy count from Zweigart 2/1 10th stitch. And you can see there is the little elf, super adorable. The lighting kind of sucks. There we go. Is that better? I don't know. And I am using easy count fabric just because I had it. I normally am just fine stitching with a white fabric and then gridding it myself, but I had this as leftovers from Eternal Promise because I ended up quitting that earlier in the year, and so I decided I would reuse that fabric for other charts, and this was one of the charts that got some of the fabric, so there's that. And then I decided to give myself another new start after that, just for funsies. I don't know. It sounded like a good idea at the time. I don't know, if it was, but oh well. And I ended up starting the chart Mariner from Maxine Gadd, which is also from Imaginarium Cross Stitch. And this chart I went with 150 colors, and I picked the same finished size as I did for Autumn Harmony. So here's where I got to on that chart. I started in the middle, which was right around her nose, and then I decided I would move right over to her eye because I just wanted to see how it would look stitched, and I love it so far. So I am stitching this on 28 count 2/1 10th stitch, and I am also using the easy count fabric that was left over from Eternal Promise because, like I said, I had quite a bit of easy count and I just wanted to put it to use. So there's that, and that is everything that I worked on and started. I only had one purchase. I purchased a chart from Nene Thomas. I purchased the chart Dyerwood in the bookmark size, and I purchased the bookmark size just because I wanted to see if her charts work in Pattern Keeper, which it does not fully work in Pattern Keeper. The symbols were all messed up after page 1, which was weird. And so yeah, so I think I'm going to stitch the chart anyways though, because I like the chart and it's really small. I think the stitch count is only like 77 stitches wide by like 200 stitches, so it's like, okay, it's not tiny, but it's smaller than a lot of other charts I'm working on. But I'm obviously just gonna have to stitch with a paper copy, which will be strange. I'm not used to using paper copies for full coverage charts anymore. So that is all that I have to show for now. I am hoping, fingers crossed, to be back before the end of the year with a video on how I did with my goals, which, spoiler alert, I failed a lot of my goals, but whatever, it's fine. And then I also want to talk about goals for next year, but I haven't finished setting my goals for next year. So yeah, hopefully I can get that done and get that filmed sometime during my kids' Christmas break. So yeah, I hope everyone has a happy holiday season and is doing great. I mean, it's been kind of interesting with things shutting down again, but whatever. Okay, I hope everyone is doing great. So we're just gonna leave it at that and not go into it. And thank you everyone for watching, liking, commenting, and subscribing. And I will see you all in my next video. Bye.